into like these kind of classic front to backs. And the early skirmishing has been the biggest thing in this tournament. And I do think that Zeka's laning phase in particular will have to be good here to buy Peanut the space to go for these early plays.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is interesting is HLE have a lot of damage threats, but their engage is very quick. Jarvan and Rakan are very fast ability to dive onto the backline, and Rubble can immediately follow that up with his ulti, with both Viper and Zeka kind of doing what they can, hitting whatever target becomes the closest. Whereas I feel for CFO, while I think it's a little bit easier for them to gain space, because what's K'Sante afraid of? You know, when that Dragon is being started by HLE, he can walk up, he can acquire some space for them, he's got that Orianna, he's got that Nami behind him, but their engage is not the easiest to pull off. You've got a Xin Zhao that can dive in, K'Sante doesn't have the easiest way to start off the fight, and I think that as long as HLE play with their range, it's much easier for them to kind of get advantages in team fights, leverage the poke, and I think in the 5v5, I do give the edge to HLE.
Yeah, it's feeling very committal on the side of CFO, but that is exactly what CFO do. They hard commit to fights all game long, and we're going to see whether they'll do it again here in game number 1 as we get onto the Rift for this best of 3. Don't worry, guys, we are just going to be promoting a team to our top 8 rather than saying goodbye to anyone in this best of 3. Still a chance for either of these teams if they don't make it through this one. But then it's do or die as the Gyos do come through.
You know, those power rankings that we just saw at the top, I know obviously these power rankings, the statistics that come in behind them as Junja looks for a bit of early vision. You know, there's always a lot of conversation that happens around them, right? Like arguing, is HLE actually the second best in the world right now? Is CFO number 5? Like, you can debate for days.
Is KT the best team in the world right now?
Excellent question.
Yeah, it's a very good question.
Yes,
that's why I love casting with you.
Good call, Max.
What I love about it, and what I think it really demonstrates, is the unbelievable amount of growth that we have been seeing from CFO throughout the year. The fact that they have consistently challenged these top teams, but unfortunately have always just fallen short of being able to beat them, just shows the level of which they've risen to, but also showcases the potential that exists in this roster. And to upset HLE today, I think, would be monumental for them and the region.
Yep. Having a look here at the year of CFO, they have been just kicking goals all over the place. And the other side of the coin isn't the same story, right? And I actually love this as a barometer for how HLE is going to look and to measure the performance of CFO and how much they've improved. Already, you can see that this lane matchup, not exactly the most fun for Zeka.
Well, we've also seen teams, I think, really stifled in their growth when you're so obviously the best team in a region. And that, I think, is so cool about CFO, is that that hasn't seemingly harmed them. There's obviously also the proximity, right? They're able to scrim against LPL or CK teams. But you need to get to the point where they see you as a scrim partner in the first place. So
that's not an easy thing.
That is not an easy thing. No hard thing, actually, to get going consistently. As looking at both junglers currently pathing towards the bot side of the map, we also have actual just normal lanes, which I love.
We're also seeing in this early game just pressure from CFO all across the map. Hongq playing hyper-aggressive in the mid lane, making sure that he leverages the early strength of Orianna. In the bot lane 2 versus 2, the additional sustain that Kaiwing is bringing on the Nami means that he can help the Ezreal get that early push. And on the top side of the map, Rumble doesn't have the same threat that he will later on into the game. So CFO are playing with 3 pushing lanes now, and I'm very curious as to what Junja will do with that pressure, because when it comes to star power, he really is kind of the shining star of this team, and it makes a lot of magic happen for CFO.
And Peanut has been one of the biggest early instigators in the entire LCK. The man loves to flash over walls early on, try and go for these really aggressive level 3 ganks. We're not going to see any of that this time around, though. Both junglers have just decided to go for a full clear. Peanut's going to cross because obviously wants to try and play away from the bot lane that is so heavily pushed in, and should still be able to get his crab there.
Yep, going for a little bit of a wraparound here. We'll see whether he is actually looking for Hongq, but instead going to be a little distracted by the shellfish.
You need that crab.
You got to get the crab first. But then he might head into this mid lane to try and punish a bit of the shove that has come through here. Junja going to finish off his clear as the Demacian junglers both going to be mirroring each other on opposite sides of the map. And you can see here, Zeus, level 4, feeling a whole lot more comfortable in this matchup. And speaking of matchups, things actually are... One thing that I hadn't actually noticed is that Hongq on a champion he's pretty comfortable on, guys. 11-2 his whole career on this champion, and that is a lot of games for someone so young.
And not only that, I want to highlight again the contrast to me.
Bit of a grand entrance here as Viper doesn't have a lot of the blue stuff, but is otherwise feeling okay. Delight still has the moves on the Rakan.
the contrast coming into the series compared to where at the beginning of the year where Zeka was picking Yone and Zed and actually did have like really flashy performances on it, obviously known for his melee champions for the longest time. But coming into this series, I think that we're seeing Zeka still kind of struggle with the issues he had domestically, where he's just not able to really perform to his highest level. And that might be the opportunity that CFO are going to be looking for. I am also looking at how these team fights are going to look. We've seen a lot of games really decided, like the first 2 skirmishes at Drakes. Sometimes a Grubs contest, but usually that one is traded. But the Herald is where games are made or broken, and then, you know, at Otacon you get the opportunity. Maybe they throw it back at you. As I hope we'll get that today as well, because the last time these 2 teams faced, even though the series wasn't that long, it was violent.
Certainly was.
Oh!
Jinx. Look at that synergy. Isn't that beautiful?
He needs to talk.
I'm really looking forward to when you come to the LCK next year.
He needs to talk. You have to say his name, because you jinxed him.
Oh, sorry, Vedius.
I mean,
Do I need to say it like lots of times?
Day, but it's okay.
I mean, I could do that.
Can't believe he jinxed me on a cat.
I mean, it's obviously Andy Day.
That's true, only my mother calls me Andrew. Shockwave.
Yeah, Zeka taking a bit of damage here, but I think he'll be all right. The pressure from Honkyu is just massive, though, and you can see it is being demonstrated in that 10 CS gap. He's not going to move on over here as control wards are going to meet in the Banana Brush. But this Dragon will be going over to Junja without too much of a contest by HLE, just trying to get the information that they're looking for.
Yeah, and Hanwha Live already swapping away, not looking to contest this one. I think they do really need their level 6 on most of their characters to really get anything done. So instead of risking the game at an early play...
You think they want to kill Honkyu?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, they're going to go for it here as Emperor's Divide will pick him up.
Peanut?
We'll see whether he can get himself out of there, but that is going to be first blood going over to Zeka, and that is a great start for this Azir that was struggling.
HLE just sent all the boys to mid lane.
Yeah!
Delight was there, Zeka was there, Peanut was there, and Zeus were all there. Doggo trying to get a bit of chip damage down onto Zeus, but he's going to walk that one off. But it is first blood over to HLE, and they make it look easy.
I actually really like that play there from Hanwha Live. They know that there's no ultimate for Honkyu, but also I think normally when you get Drake for free, you would expect Hanwha Live to play towards the top side of the map, maybe invade their setup for Grubs. Instead, they just really heavily overload mid. Honkyu not wanting to use his flash, and to be fair, I think even if he flashes, Zeka follows him and he will end up going down.
Now, from Zeus' perspective, there's the risk of a dive in this position. There was a stacked wave, he'd taken a decent amount of damage, but given that there was no presence of the jungler, they saw the timing of the blue buff, that actually pinged on the top side saying, actually, I'm pretty confident that Junja's on the other side of the map right now, giving Zeus the safety and security to sit underneath his tower, but also giving that information over to Delight and Viper, who are holding onto this freeze on the top side of the map. It was a very stock standard early game where I felt CFO leveraged their pressure extremely well. But now that the SWATs have started to come through, Grubs are going to be spawning soon, you can see that CFO under a little bit of pressure right now as they can't really punish anywhere on the map. And with Grubs spawning in 25 seconds, it's HLE that's going to be in a much more favorable position to set up for that objective.
Yeah, and despite the fact that it's only about a 600 gold lead, which is somewhat considerable at 7.5 minutes, this is where HLE builds on the tempo vibes, right? They move around the map better.
It's time.
You're not aware of the tempo vibes?
I'm unaware of the
Have you done that
vibes.
your Atlas prep specifically?
I did not.
I mean, so tempo vibes are not actually something represented by what's going on in the game.
Very important.
Right?
You might think of tempo and like tempo. No, not that.
It's not actually like that. It's just a vibe of who's in the better position. And right now, Peanut not in a great position as Arcane Shift from Doggo getting so many of these Mystic Shots down. Viper trying to kite it out, has that Q activated, and he has to flash to move himself out of the area. Battle Dance to save Delight, but Doggo snipes down Viper and will be able to answer that first kill.
So Doggo, he's got loads of tempo vibes out there.
Absolutely, there we go. Shockwave going to come through as Honkyu also pretty good at that. He is going to be able to take a turret shot and be okay, but this dive is not over yet. This wave is crashing down, and Peanut and Delight both under full health. And Cataclysm does put Doggo in the cage, but Kaiwing is able to help pick that one up. Is that going to be Feats of Warfare? There it is! As the Orianna collects it. Now Zeka finds a triple knockback with the Empress Divide, and Viper has made his way back to the fight. Kaiwing will be the first one to go down in this next team fight as Honku, no mana and not a lot of a chance to get himself out. But he is going to be able to flash. Still, Zeka able to pick it up. A double for the Azir, and HLE salvaged the play.
And you can see there at first, Hanwha loves it. They're not actually going to pull the trigger, right? Doggo's he's just getting poked. And Doggo's like, no, we are all inning. Viper wasn't ready. But then the extension on trying to further go for that dive towards the top side ends up backfiring as reinforcements arrive for Hanwha.
I mean, Doggo is just a monster. Someone needs to check his PC immediately.
Not normal.
Because it was not normal at all. Of course, the consequences of all of this for CFO is while they were able to get a bunch of kills, big stacked wave on the top side, a couple of CS going to be lost. They're going to be able to grab all of these grubs in favor of HLE as well. Doggo is in the vicinity, and you've got to be mindful, Peanut. This man is not afraid of anything.
He certainly isn't. They do have a lot of mobility, though, so Battle Dance should be able to get Delight over the wall if he wants to leave the pit. And Driver is now the one that could be in trouble or walking up very, very far. He's Cassante, so he will be able to take a beating, but oh my goodness, Slurkle slows him down. There's the interruption. Great flag and drag from Peanut. And now the all-out does have to be employed. Can Driver do the funny business to get himself out? He uses the flash to try and escape, but he's ran out of options. Does eat that CC very nicely, and oh no! He just gets himself out!
Not even close, baby! I thought that when he used the W, because
we really need Showmaker here, I think.
Clearly they made
champion.
the read.
Oh my goodness.
That they had based, right? They were expecting a base to come through here. As we go back to that dive.
Yeah, let's go back to the dive. So this is all after Doggo has already secured that kill. It's a 4 versus 2. You can see that Peanut tries to punish Kaiwing as he gets aggro underneath the tower. The EQ doesn't really result in much, and it looks like a clean dive to start things off. But with the arrival of Zeka, I love this awareness. An easy 3-man ultimate to set up for Viper to come in, who's just come off the back of respawning. Means that he's just spent his gold, he's got items, and he does enough damage to work with Zeka after CFO have already used all their tools.
And that's the big thing. You know there's no cooldowns, all the ultimates are down. I also did not really catch, at that time, Driver was just proxying between 2 turrets, and Zeus was like trying to take a limit, obviously. It's Cassante, so that didn't work. And then they tried to kill the Cassante afterwards. Also didn't work as the Drake.
Yeah, Drake gonna get started up here as Zeka finds another 2! There is the tidal wave, that comes on through, but Honku's already dead. Cataclysm will be avoided, but Doggo, he's out of the fight, he's out of the pit, and there is no hope for Junja this time. It is a steamroll from HLE.
And Zeka is 2 for 2 now with these shuffles. Actually, 3 for 3, even the gank in mid lane was him setting it up on the Azir. 5-0.
Absolutely ridiculous performance from the guy that was getting the most criticism.
Yeah.
First he doesn't build a tier on Rise, and now he's hit 2 fantastic shuffles here in this game, just trying to ramp himself up perhaps. As right now, might be eating my words, have done that already this game, so do need to be a little careful, but we are going to be saved by the replay of the Dragon fight.
And the target focus from Zeka is fantastic. When you're being collapsed on, just attack one of the flanks. He finds the bottom lane of CFO, quickly connects onto them. Doggo has to escape to safety as they're able to find that kill onto the Orianna. And this is the thing, while Orianna is a very strong champion in the current meta, when you don't have that flash, you're a very vulnerable champion, especially to the amount of mobility that HLE has access to. And we talked about it earlier, right? Speed. HLE's composition is fast, and I feel like that CFO are being punished in the setup for some of these objectives, as Honku now gets dangerously low and is at risk of a dive.
Yeah, this is scary. No flash available. Does get the 2-man shockwave, though, as the punishment is going to come on through. But Redemption will be able to keep Zeka relatively safe as Kaiwing moves himself over. Delight is not afraid. Otherwise, everything's going to be okay.
Actually, really nicely done there. Made sure to clear the wave so that there wasn't an angle for a dive. He knew reinforcements on the way, so the next dive was at no threat. And I really want to highlight what you said earlier, Vedi, about Honku. Without flash, there is a Jarvan whose ultimate will force you. Maybe even the flag and drag Zeus.
Yeah, going all out here as the equalizer goes down. It just puts a wall between himself and Driver. There's the knock-up and the punishment to come in. I'll hold it until he's actually dead, and there he does finally go down. Some revenge here as True Shot Barrage not quite correct here to take down Zeus.
Peanut feels very omnipresent right now. It's probably because we just came out of a replay where he was bot lane and now he's top lane. The man is covering exactly where he needs to at just the right times. As Zeka.
Yeah, looking for Honku here as the quickness comes in, and Delight will just hold him in position. Emperor's Divide, perfect position, but he's not dead just yet, and Junja is making his way down. HLE, a little bit of a split decision, but Zeka decides sides. He wants to get the kill as there is the turret going down in the top lane at the same time.
And the shutdown will go to Junja. That's a small moment of respite for CFO, but they still got the 1-for-1. Zeka, I think, made the right call. He's not getting out, so he might as well make sure that he gets the kill onto Honku. But the bigger story is that while that's happening because of the kill on Driver, top lane has fallen as Doggo.
Yeah, Viper taking so much damage here. That Trinity Force has been finished. The knock-up from downtown as Barrier is trying to keep Viper alive. Meanwhile, here on the bottom side of the map, Junja is in trouble as Zeus is down here as well. That's a great ulti, and Junja is going to be able to keep himself safe.
Oh, that flash predict from Doggo just doesn't quite have the damage yet.
And as you can see here, in the Coinbase Gold Grind on the left of your screen, Zeka with a whole lot of extra money against the biggest powerhouse of this team.
And it feels like the game is quickly slipping out of CFO's control as HLE, I mean, I just took a quick glimpse at the minimap and it's just red wards littered everywhere. Some of that deep vision that HLE had gotten on the bottom side is now wearing off, but they have such great information on CFO's movements and they're already ahead of the play. Peanut has been there, ready to set up for these objectives, and while CFO have been able to steal a few of them away, given that they are sitting at 2 dragons right now, this Herald looks I mean, why do I say it's Of course they will challenge, it's CFO!
Well, they're going to try. We'll see whether they can actually lock down the objective. He's just going to be able to steal it away. Feats of strength come in as well, but there's a great equalizer from Zeus. Cataclysm comes down, and there is the quickness as well for the charm. Junja is immediately going to get punished, and they may not be able to get the eye, but at least they have some cool shoes.
I love that Junja is just exquisite at winding HLE up. He is diving in solo. The fight doesn't go their way, but they steal away the objective once again. And CFO showing their aggression as Doggo.
Another arcane shift forward as Peanut going to get himself out of the top of the morning to you, he says. Zeka is going to shift some sands to get himself to safety as well. Doggo, he's going to do it, isn't he? Okay, never mind. Not this time.
I was ready for it.
They had vision a lot in the area, so he would have been relatively safe to do it, but decides not to.
And that was a really nice steer from Junja, but I think it also highlights what you said earlier, Vedi, which is that I think the CFO comp, if they're at an objective first, I actually think the comp feels so strong. You have a lot of zone control, you have a lot of poke, you have a lot of healing, but as you can see, when they need to regain control of an area, it's quite hard. Even though you get the steal here, look at the re-engage that comes through from Hanwha. Zeus might be in trouble.
Yeah, can't watch the replay in this one as Zeus is in so much trouble. Audacious charge comes through. He does flash to get himself out of the way. Wind becomes lightning, goes the wrong direction, but there's the shockwave, and down goes Zeus. Shut down money for the Orianna.
Honku gets some much-needed gold as he has been the target from HLE throughout this game. The gold advantage still very much in HLE's favor, but CFO, after finding a pick, now set their sights on the 3rd dragon of the game.
Yeah, so much vision, though. And you're exactly right. And Infernal Soul is a big deal at the same time. Honky this time in a whole host of trouble, though, as Viper not quite there for the damage. Still waiting for this Rumble to come back up again, and right now CFO do have control of the area. 50% on that health bar. Zeka going to need to find a fantastic shuffle if they want to win this fight. Orb does come down. Honku still with no mana in this fight. Great double knock up in the backline, and there is the flag and drag. At the same time, exhaust onto Doggo. He's put in the Cataclysm. Zeka takes down Kaiwing, and HLE have found their marks. Yes, Peanut goes down, but he has done enough for his teammates. As Viper may have stepped too far forward, he does get disengaged with that blast gun, but they will be able to get themselves the dragon. Honku burning, but Zeus will not be able to find that kill, and my goodness, that could have been way worse for CFO.
And that was the light that set it all up. He went for a flash charm into 2-man knock-up onto the backline of CFO. That took Doggo low, because don't forget, they were a member down, but I want you to look, Honku doesn't have a lot of mana, doesn't have a lot of health, and no ultimate, so really this feels like a 4.5 versus 4. But the engages from Hanwha this game have been so on point, and Junja accidentally knocks Peanut over the pit onto Doggo.
I mean, it's a very close fight. It's just happening back and forth over the wall. Doggo playing at the very edge of life and death as he's able to almost take out Viper, who heavily committed, thinking he could get the cleanup play, but again, with Doggo's positioning, able to navigate through that fight. But HLE, the good news is they get the Drake.
Viper, you have 1 item. I know that normally you're the accelerated guy on Hanwha Live, but you need to chill. If you have 3 items, you can go for that play. It's fine, but
I don't blame
him. This one.
It has been Viper Life Esports for quite some time, okay? And today Zeka decided to step up, and so he's all a bit confused and discombobulated about where he is at the point in the game. So I don't blame him for that one, but still gonna have to get themselves together if they're gonna win some of these team fights. CFO not out of this one yet, and those extra couple of Drakes helping out a lot.
The beauty of this game is it really personifies CFO as a team, how they really play with the nameplates off. The fact that they've contested every single objective, and they've stolen most of them, and the fact that they still commit to these fights, even if these fights don't look optimal, sometimes it backfires, but other times they find ways to either equalize or contest. It's important to realize that right now it is HLE in the driver's seat. They do have the gold lead. A lot of it is sitting on the important carries of Zeka and Viper, but we see how Doggo plays, and it only takes a couple moments like that, a single moment from Doggo, to punish your positioning, to swing the momentum back in CFO's favor.
And he's hit that 2-item spike as well. I mean, Doggo is extraordinarily powerful right now. You have a bit of an engage, though, as Zeus in a bit of trouble once again. Equalizer goes down. He's doing a lot of damage. Junja almost just dead, but the all-out holds him in position, and Junja will survive.
Peanut's going to look for an exit kill here.
A little bit of an angle, perhaps, as he does dodge out of the way of that Q. Looking for the Xin Zhao here, as you can see, Delight wants to come on over as well. Driver not quite finding the angles onto Peanut here. He will take the consolation Cassante for that 1-for-1. As Viper comes down, and if he gets the kill, that's going to feel a whole lot better here for HLE, and he does.
Ends up being a 1-for-1 overall, and there's not much else at the rest of the map that CFO can trade for. Those neutral objectives are unavailable, and Artican all the way up in top lane. CFO didn't really have the tools to get out of that situation. Ideally, they would have loved to convert it into another tower, but it is important to remember that HLE right now have 3 towers standing, and CFO really can't get close.
CFO is still holding on to the mid lane turret, though, and I think otherwise you might have seen Hanwha Life already way deeper into the enemy jungle. This time the rotation wasn't in time. If Artican was on the opposite side, even though Junja didn't end up dying, was very low, was at that point just shy of his second item. That could have been a window where Hanwha Life pulled the trigger. Not going to be the case, though, and this Artican certainly to be where the next fight says, as I say that, they're starting it up.
Yeah, Viper is just hitting it. Peanut going to turn up as well. There is no vision available here for CFO. And Kaiwing, like you say, he's going home. Junja is going to be able to get a ward over the wall here, or at least try and look for it. There it is. The control wall goes down. He gets the bad news.
Too late.
But this Artican is not long for the world, and Delight will turn up. He will be able to play defense to avoid him getting in here. Down goes the Artican, and now Driver slowed by the circle. Zeus gets himself in there as the equalizer comes down. Perfect position once again. The tidal wave comes through. It's a phenomenal shockwave. Honku decides that they want to win the fight, and now it's Junja's turn to go deep. They look for the angle. Zeus goes down. Delight in a safe spot, and HLE, they're just trying to get the heck out of Dodge.
They need more, though. Zeka might go down.
Yep, tagged by the Mystic Shot. Emperor's Divide pushes Doggo away, and is he going to survive? He will! Mystic Shot doesn't get the snipe, and Delight will also be safe on the top side. Man, they're not allowed to get away with that.
The problem for CFO is that they've just ignored all their waves. They focused on chasing down the kills. They wanted to try and get more off the back of it, but top lane was getting pushed in, mid lane was getting pushed in, and now HLE can reset back out onto the map, which means that CFO, even though they find a good shockwave, they find a good fight, okay, at the very least, can they? I don't know. They're not actually going to get a tower.
Oh, that's so unfair. Doggo does have to back away here. 3 versus 1 and not odds that he wants. 1 versus 2 he's very happy to do. This was a little bit of a bridge too far, as now Dragon going to be up in 18 seconds.
Hey, come on now. He'll go for it.
Yeah, I kind of regretted saying that as soon as I started.
That does mean that we're now 33 flowers to 10, and they will get this mid lane turret. Hanwha Life instead playing for Prio on the Dragon. Zeus obviously has decent wave clear
on that equalizer if they do want to just eradicate the wave. You're exactly right. Drake has coming up here, is now HLE in a bit of trouble. Shockwave onto 1, but Zeus is no longer here. The scrap shield's good, but Junja just says, nah, get out of town, and he is going to be able to pick up that kill. Equalizer went down beforehand, though, and Junja in a little bit of trouble. He's still going forward. Delight will be able to deny him, but I do love the idea at least. Another Peanut to come through. It's Peanut gets taken down. There is Viper finding a decent amount of damage, but they cannot do anything without their job, and that should be sole point.
Oh my god, the Ezreal ultimate almost got Delight because his back came through at just the right time, but it didn't actually hit.
This is a design. I don't know what is even happening here, but it should be sole point picked up by CFO, right?
It's going to be. HLE are going to trade back this mid-tier 1. This is something they've been doing very well this game. The cross maps, the trading objectives, they go into Honku.
Yeah, Honku does manage to get the flash out, and now the bubble connects by Kaiwing, but the follow-up It's just not there. Viper stands in front of his Azir. Now Driver looking for a bit of an angle, but Delight is going to be there for the defense. And man, CFO are just getting so close so many times, it's frustrating.
And that is where the lack of engage comes in, right? The best way for them to start a fight have been like these shockwaves, or in case of this, just Doggo hitting again and again as Junja follows up on the shockwave onto Zeus. Zeus tries to walk it off, but not able to. And then here I think Junja correctly identifies that he will just not be able to get out of here alive. So he tries to get the kill onto Delight, who barely survives, as Vedi highlights, even almost gets sniped. But it's this pick right there, the cancel from Driver on the flag and drag, that kills Peanut, and with no jungler, that is CFO going to Infernal Soul Point. And this game, it just continues to deliver as Driver might be in trouble. There are a lot of people on the way.
Exactly. You've got Viper moving down from the north, as you can see, with Peanut alongside. It could also mean an inner turret as well, as Driver does go unstoppable, but Viper does have his teeth in now. Driver gets himself out. But is this inner turret going to be the next target? Looks like the answer is no, as Honku trading on the other side of the rift.
So this is really good news for CFO, because now HLE playing a little bit desperate. They sent a lot of members towards the bot side of the map, committing to that play. They couldn't really keep that top tower alive for much longer, but it's also giving Junja an opportunity to steal away some camps, as Peanut is doing the exact same thing on the bottom side of the map. Remember, the deficit that Honku is at was absolutely massive early on into the game. It's still a 1k difference between the two mid laners, which means that he doesn't have that arm guard just yet. But CFO have a much more favorable position on the map. They've reduced the gold lead significantly. They've gotten the XP and the items that they need. And CFO, they're in prime position, especially with Soul on the horizon.
Exactly right.
And Hanwha Life are going to be looking to find either Honku or Doggo. The one thing CFO need to be extremely careful about is that this is a 2-carry composition. We're getting to the point of the game where the Xin Zhao alone isn't going to be able to get the damage output to really chew for a lot of the members on Hanwha. So Zeka, Peanut, and Delight are all going to be looking to either take down Honku, Doggo, or ideally both in one fell swoop. If they can eliminate those damage dealers early on in the fight, they might be looking at the next objective, but I think CFO has done such a good job consistently of not letting Hanwha Life just exit after they use their engage, after they use all their tools. As Peanut has just been looking for these flanks. Doggo's obviously a tough target. Powing also still has his flash available.
Yeah, playing some defense here as Delight making his way forward. There's the quickness. Delight seeing who he can pick up here as the wall. Sorry, the wave is going to be avoided. Cataclysm puts them both in equalizer. Down on top to barbecue them. And there is the Emperor's Divide to lap up that bottom lane. Now Zeka in trouble though. Will he be able to break the arm guard? He will. He's on 1 health though. After everything's said and done, the ult from Junja so incredibly good. But Viper is still standing. It's so much damage. And the carries for CFO are down.
It was a beautiful engage from HLE, but it ended as a 3 for 3. The fact that CFO is able to turn that around is phenomenal.
And it's the absorption of Delight. Is eventually able to get on top, but I want the only real damage he receives is ultimate. The shockwave comes through from Honku. Doggo's there, and if Zeka hadn't gone that TP off, they would have been in dire straits. Instead, it's Driver. Look how he holds this choke here.
And Zeka has to put himself in such a dangerous position in order to make that play happen. With the arrival of Viper, though, you'll think that it's just cleanup. But Junja and Driver just go God mode as they find an escape angle. The blast cone gets them to safety. And what should have been an uncontested Baron for HLE after finding a phenomenal fight, the map just resets.
I do want to highlight, though, in a minute, Dragon will spawn. I think that is something that CFO can ignore, Hanwha Life cannot. They cannot give it up. Look at the summoners that were used. Honku probably will have his flash available at that point, but Doggo and Kaiwing will not.
The armband being used by Zeka, but is now available for Honku. The moment of stasis that he's going to be able to buy could be the difference maker. Level 15 secured for Zeka. Once he gets to level 16, 3 points in his ultimate. This Azir is going to be very scary. Whoa, 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 CFO.
This is aggressive. Driver does push himself forward. Viper finds the Slurkle, but isn't going to be able to get too much more. Zeka is getting money towards that bottom side. If he can complete the Hourglass, could be a big deal. And there it is, picked up. So got enough money. Now contesting this Baron feels a little bit better. But look at the gold. It is dead even. One thing we do need to talk about, though, is pedal advantage with 26 extra pedals.
Oh, yeah.
They have almost 2,000 gold worth of adaptive force there. Thank you very much to our stats team coming up with that one. So this is still a bit of an advantage for HLE. Delight's flashing forward. He finds the quickness to lock down Honku. Another phenomenal equalizer from Zeus. And the blast cone will not save the Orianna. Battle Dance gets him out of there. And Delight has been so good. Junja now in trouble. If they lose their jungler, they're in so much Dire Straits, as you said, Chronicler.
Look at the flash timer. It just now became available. Honku didn't have it. The timing from Hanwha Live, literally seconds away from what it could have been. And now this should secure the Dragon because they didn't kill Jinja. I don't know if they can go for Nash, and you need to be careful that Nash isn't taken.
Oh my god, those slows.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, 3 items for Viper, 3 items for Zeka. They just melt through Driver now. And I mean, the timing was perfect because I think both Doggo and Kaiwing had just based as well. Like, HLE found the perfect moment.
Ooh, ships in the night here as the Dragon will be secured. Second one for HLE, denying the soul. As Viper takes half of his health bar from that True Shot barrage, Doggo still hurts so much. Now with his 3rd item completed.
But this is really could have been game losing because Junja survives. Like, it's fine. Honku now has his flash available. Hanwha Live got a Dragon, but again, it's only a second Drake, not the end of the world. Doesn't really matter that much. And it means that this game will remain in an even state. I do think we're seeing that if CFO leaves up or down their guard for just a second, Hanwha Live will take something, right? And that's been where Hanwha Live has really excelled, when they're able to just pull the trigger quickly on these plays. And I think we're going to see them just continuously put pressure on this Baron because they shred this objective.
Certainly do. As Honku, even though he's 2 and 8, has still done the most damage in the
2
game.
and 6 and
Sorry,
8.
2, 6, and 8. There was an 8 there. I put it in the wrong spot. That is my bad.
I think he's overgrouping though. He has TP available. There's a nice way for him to catch on the bot side of the map. It would get him level 15. He needs a little bit more gold injected into him, but he's so wary of HLE forcing things that he wants to be present for the fight, and that fight is about to happen right now.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Look at Junja's positioning.
This is just melting. It's absolutely obscene. Driver goes in there. They're going to see whether they can win the fight because they're not going to take the Baron. The rest of CFO move over, but Driver's going all out, and he needs to get out because that health bar is just missing. Emperor's Divide finds 2 in the backline, and Saze is there with the flamethrower to take down Honku again. Junja will be able to keep himself alive at least, but Peanut takes down Doggo. There are those carries you were talking about, Mal. They're now taking a nap in the river, and there goes the rest of CFO to follow. HLE, they will find their team fight in the end.
And that's just going to be it, most likely. All the damage dealers on Hanwha Live ready to push down that mid lane. Baron buffs there, and CFO, they fought valiantly, but Hanwha Live get the Nash and take the game.
HLE with ruthless efficiency force the Baron, force the fight, win cleanly, and have the Nexus in their eyes.
Exactly. Nexus turret's going to be the next ones to fall down, and we had questions for HLE. Will Zeka be able to tidy up the play? Well, the answer to that is yes. Will Delight find some of his fantastic engages? Yes, and they needed to take down CFO here in this game number 1.
CFO. I think that you have an incredible amount of early game power, right? You have Leona, you have Ryze, you have the Trundle, which you can really use to get off to a good start. I think we did see them really struggle with keeping up once it came to mid to late game with the rotations that Hanwha had around the map. So we'll see if they're able to find a better answer to that this time around.
I'm just worried about this for Necton. I think it's going to be so difficult to execute against Caitlyn Talia. Like, he's going to have to find some crazy flanks. You do have Leona, which I think can be a very good engaged champion. But again, like, there's just not a huge amount of CC on the side of CFO, so I feel like they're going to run into very similar ranged problems that they ran into in game 1. But hey, we know that CFO is aggressive, so let's see what they can do in the early game.
Exactly right. Both of these teams wanting to get off to some early sieges as well, so movements around the map and allocating lanes is going to be something that we're going to be glued to. But now it is time to pseudo hop onto the Rift as a sepia mode is what we are greeted with, making sure maybe it's, you know, rest. Maybe he did accidentally pick up the God mode mouse, so everyone was doing the same mouse movements.
So
and it would have been very
I'm gonna
awkward.
regret this, but the cow bridge, is it like because the troll's under the bridge, so he loses to the bridge, or like what is the? I think the
cow loses to the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, because the bridge is with the. Yeah, Troll's good at bridge.
No, look, listen. You see, so
Much better at card games.
Trolls can play the game bridge, right?
Yeah.
Cows lack
have
the
hooves,
intellectual,
so they can't make
their
it work.
inability.
Is it about hooves or intellect?
However, trolls are incapable of harming cows, probably because
they have an unbreakable will.
Yeah.
And their subjugate doesn't work very well against it.
Exactly.
I like that you did an actual little gameplay narrative tie-in. That's good stuff.
What do you mean? That's
how the game
games
works.
work.
This is what we we designed. Vedius and I designed this game.
It's actually been,
really
it's been
Why did
sold
you guys
it's
do
been sold in
this?
multiple countries
Yeah,
around the world.
It just didn't really like go that hard in the Netherlands.
If anything, I'm just kind of hurt that you haven't.
There's a
heard
board
about it.
game I don't know
me
about.
too.
Board game?
Or
It's
card
not
game.
it's not even a card game. It's a you have a hand
Play
game.
it. We can play it right now.
Yeah. We're not going to though.
We're not
We've got
going
a job
to. This is
do.
a more important
Yeah.
game to play.
We're
Yeah.
going to focus on that one right now. First damage going over to CFO as the bouncing bomb does connect onto the cow. Ziggs would be another thing that we could include into the game, but it would make it too complicated. That one's pretty good.
He's
Cow.
in a separate game.
Yeah.
Aw.
Ooh, doing some thumbs up. Zeus has been very good at the top laner game. And you can see Rest having a bit of a go as well. But right now, HLE asserting some dominance as the Gyos come through.
Minions have spawned.
Looking at the early setups here, we do have Zeus with what I assume will just be the same like kind of bruiser build here for the Rek'Sai. Does have Grasp to try and stack as much health as possible. Also, Doggo does have TP, which obviously will help over rotations around the map, but I do think that level 1 for the Ziggs in some lanes, you can actually see him be pretty oppressive. Caitlyn lanes, I don't think is going to be one of them, even though the Alistar obviously is really weak level 1. I think just the amount of damage that that Viper can do, plus the fact that they have early access to the wave here, should mean that it might be a bit of a struggle.
Yep, Peanut, 149 international games. And this might be one of the last ones, right? And it will
Peanut?
be. A few extra best of fives perhaps in his future if they can get a victory here, though, as Peanut does get a ward down on this red buff, sees that it's not there, and now moves all the way over towards the chickens.
but he
now
doesn't win
Junja
that.
is going to see him.
He doesn't win that.
Yeah, and so instead he's just going to
Waste-
annoy the chickens.
I mean, that's they must have had to read that it was at the top side of the map, that he started there. Because otherwise, I don't know why he would go for reps. I thought at first he was going to go over the pit and then go for a play towards bot side.
It really felt like that his plan was to try and split the map because, I mean, it's something that you do all the time with Caitlyn lanes, right? To try and provide her with that safety. Junja, though, looking for a gank in mids.
Yep, gets a really nice pillar, and the flash has to be employed here by Zeka. Lots of respect, but he gets
And
to
now
now move into
Junja's
this
gonna
top side,
invade.
and now is it just going to be a 3-quadrant start? For Junja, this is real rough for Peanut.
And for Zeka, you know he's there. Like, we just witnessed him. You know his bot side jungle is fully cleared. He just can appear in that brush. Really to play a little bit more towards the other half of the map. There might be an angle for you there. And now Junja, again, this is PTA Trundle. Like, Vi does not get to stand a chance here.
Has a
Peanut
swipe
will
back as
know.
well.
Oh dear, Peanut will
knows
know
it's
that
up.
this is going down. Gets a ward in there. Bolt Breaker comes through. Let's see who wins the smite fight, because we know Junja is probably just going to win the fight. Zeka is going to move up, though, trying to make that man advantage. Smite does come on through, as Peanut does get his red buff. Flash has to be employed as Zeka in there in the nick of time to save his jungler and to try and bail him out.
Really nice play from Zeka as he sacrifices some farm in the mid wave to support his jungler. Bit of an over-ambitious play from Junja. I feel like if he'd gone for the Krugs, then there was an opportunity for him to steal those away without being punished. But ultimately, he sets his sight on the red buff. He's not going to lose too much outside of his flash, which could come back to bite him later. But he picks up the Scuttle Crab. He's going to clear out his top camps. And overall, he's still going to be ahead of Peanut, who makes his way back out onto the map.
Yeah, should be Scuttle for Peanut as he makes his way back down towards that bottom side. So it could have been way worse, but it is still a decent little tempo advantage here for CFO. That's real tempo that we're talking about there as well, in case anyone was thinking the Tempo Vibes were going to make a comeback. Right now, Tempo Vibes feeling pretty even between these two squads.
Peanut did ping. Yeah, he's actually going to go for it. So on the minimap, he briefly pinged that he was setting his sights on the bot lane Krugs. He knows that Trundle wants to clear through the top side, but Junja seems to be reading this super well. He's actually pathing his way towards the bot side. Kaiwing is going to come and check. Now they'll spot him out.
Yeah, Kaiwing gets the information. Zenith Blade is going to hit there as well, as Peanut is behind enemy lines, and now Junja's going to make his way in.
He doesn't have
No
flash.
He cannot get over here, but Peanut just goes straight into his hands. Not sure about that one, as Peanut is just dead. First blood over to Junja.
What a phenomenal read from Junja to recognize that Peanut would try to go for the Krugs. I mean, Peanut's early game has been completely usurped through all of these reads from Junja. And now it's CFO with first blood.
Yeah, double crab start.
That's with his bot lane having prio as well. So, like, I feel like if he just paths toward his own bot lane...
I think that's part of the reason why he thought that those would be
Exactly.
safe. But again, he's communicating with Kaiwing saying, hey, can you check the Krogs? I think he's there. And the irony is he goes over the wall. He also should have known that Junja was over the wall. He queues over. I guess he's thinking, I know he doesn't have flash. I have flash. I get to the Dragon Pit. I can flash to safety. But the pillar then completely changes that.
Yeah, and I thought the frozen domain was on the ground, although it was the old one. But still, a bit of a confusing situation there. Viper playing into the hands of Junja, and now on the back foot. Currently 500 gold behind, the largest gold advantage there for Junja as Kaiwing moving back down towards the bottom side. Elsewhere, we haven't really been keeping up right now. Viper is feeling all right, about a wave in the lead as far as farm, and Zeus is doing fine too.
I'm wondering, I've played a lot of Trundle, I don't actually know if he didn't have vision of the frozen domain because he didn't have vision of Junja.
Yeah, right. That's what I kind of
thought.
thought.
So, like, maybe that was the reason, because I feel like otherwise he would always try to at least queue towards his own team. That said, the read from Junja, not just to send Kaiwing over there, but also instead of going for a base after you've already gained the lead, to just immediately run and read Peanut that well is a really big deal. And we've seen CFO do this before. That was, to me, the main reason why they were able to dispatch of T1 the way that they did, is because they had such a good read. And there was, funnily enough, also Owner playing Vi. Back then it was Junja on Kiana, if I remember correctly. And that early lead was enough for them to take the entire game. It's going to be early Dragon here now for CFO as well.
Yep, Ocean does go over here, as Junja is going to be able to lock that one up. You can see nice knock up here from Zeus, as the Rek'Sai starting to find a few angles here. Peanut clears out this ward, rest. Does need to be a little careful, as the back will complete, and Zeka makes his way home once more. Does have a tier, which is great. Good to see. But yeah, Rest does manage to get that ward down and will be A-OK. Slight experience advantage here for the
Peanut has made like I think it's like 6 separate jokes in Hanwha Live content about that, by the way.
Really?
It's like, man, he really does a lot of damage. I wonder if that's related to
My favorite was when Prey messaged him immediately after the game, and Peanut's response was just a smiley face. It's just so good. Oh, man.
Especially given that it's Prey.
Yep.
The history between him and Peanut. As we do have not Peanut. I don't think that 4th invade is the answer.
If at first you don't succeed.
No, I think he wants to Scuttle Crab. I think he's respecting
he will.
Troll King.
Is he on time though? Should be okay. Yeah. Smite is about to come off, so I think he's fine.
Yeah, convinces the Rift Scuttler to go the other direction, so should be all right. As that Prey Seeker going an awkward direction there for Zeus, who does have Peanut standing alongside. You can see these rage bars are well and truly stacked up. Zeus is going to eat his to get that health bar back.
And if there wasn't a Trundle on the top side of the map, maybe they go for something, but a level 7 Renekton with ultimate, even though he hasn't based yet. By the way, neither top laner has his Peanut.
This is quite clever. He's come... Junja thinks that he's gone away, but he's stuck over the wall, came in through the back. Junja doesn't realize, and he's able to steal away one of the grubs. Well done there by Peanut.
Very cute. It should be Junja being able to grab the next 2, or at least one of them. So that experience lead that he does have should still be there. Peanut with level 6 though, the most important thing for a Vi to get to, and is now able to lock someone down.
You think these 2 top laners just have a pact that we're just gonna not base until our first item?
I hope so.
Wait, he's breaking the pact!
This is kind of ridiculous. Doggo moving up towards that top side. Mega Inferno Bomb does connect, doesn't quite do the damage though, and now he's trying to tunnel his way over. The ulti comes through, and Zeus goes down. Immediately, Doggo now at about 200 health. Zeka trying to get himself out of there. He flashes, but the Realm Warp will follow. There's feats of warfare as no one on CFO has gone down yet, and Kaiwing was even looking for more. It's obliteration by the Oysters.
And CFO find a giant lead here early on. The damage comes down on Zeus. Peanut not able to help in time, and that's a free for 0.
Just extremely well executed from CFO. They waste few movements. After securing the grubs, they turn their attention to top. Rest did the initial damage to allow for Doggo to come in.
Oh my
and
god.
Now they find themselves 3-0 up in kills. They've got a 1.4k gold lead.
Maybe that's the pact.
He did
Full
the
item
thing.
pact.
First base Eclipse.
He got it.
We look back at this play on the top side, and again, Rest is going to find some nice trades in the top lane 1 versus 1. Doggo going to help secure the grubs, and then the arrival of Doggo in the face of Peanut. And again, we talk about this man only having a W key. Like, he both figuratively and literally. The nice interrupt comes through from Kaiwing as well to stop from Zeka collapsing. And then Doggo picks up that kill onto Zeus. They dive underneath the tower into Peanut. They get themselves another one. I mean, just flawless in execution and nothing but confidence.
But that play from Kaiwing, I think, is actually what makes the whole play work. If Zeka is at that top side and the dive happens while there's like Talia stones, while you have to play around the W, I don't actually think that maybe you trade like even, but it would be a very different situation. But because Kaiwing gets the cancel, Hanwha Life is playing a member down or 2 members down throughout that whole sequence, and 1.5 gold lead close to this early on is nothing to scoff at.
Certainly isn't, especially when you're looking at then a Caitlyn that gets some free farm to bail you out. She's not necessarily known for that. As Zeus also not looking like he's going to be able to get out of this one either as he takes a bite out of him. There is the Vault Breaker available for Peanut to try and play some defense. Zeus might be out, but Peanut could be in trouble. Honku decides that he wants to kill the Rek'Sai, but it may have not been the right choice. Peanut tries to get himself out. The Solar Flare connects. And this is a little bit cute. The ring around the Rosie to come on through now as Peanut not able to get over that wall. One bite from Ginger, and he clears out his opposite number. 0-3-0 for Peanut to start this one off.
I mean, Ginger is just schooling Peanut in this game. Zeus did so much to get out of what was a very tricky situation, and Peanut thinks, hey, I'm coming to help. I'm going to escort you to safety, but instead, CFO just turn their attention and say, well, instead, you'll be the target. They pick themselves up another kill. They extend the gold lead even further. And the LCP's first seed holds the gold lead here in Game 2.
It's also Junja on one end, and then Kaiwing on the other. He was also the one that got the initial setup on Peanut towards the bot side of the map, was able to get the cancel on Zeka earlier on as well. CFO able to actually build up that lead even further. And we do know for Hanwha, obviously, that team fighting power is always very good. That is something that CFO is going to have to really respect, their ability to turn on a dime. I think they're looking at first item finishes on Peanut, on Zeus, and on Viper. Those one-item spikes do really hit. But if oh, there we go. They're not letting down on the gas.
Yeah, Honku makes his way in with Kaiwing. Viper going to try and go for the execute, and he will be able to get it. Flashes out of the Solar Flare to make sure that no one gets the money. Still going for a bit of a dive now towards the top side of the map as HLE, they've come alive. The shutdown to give Peanut some money back, and Delight gets his unbreakable will and is able to help take down the Croc there on that top side.
The cross map is clean as HLE lose nothing on the bot side, only gain on the top side, and they're going to get some much needed plates to reduce this gold advantage that CFO have been able to build.
And we see Junja take the Dragon. Trundle was one of those champions where I actually would have loved, might still be able to make it actually, so I gotta eat my words there. I was kind of hoping with Triforce, as fed as you are going to absolutely shred through this turret. As we can see here, instead they went to 2 Drakes, which obviously is a big win. Nice ult there from Doggo to clear out the wave, as they should be able to get out here, unless he just bases there, but he will see Kaiwing, so I think he should be good to go.
Yeah, tunnels should be employed to get Zeus out of dodge, and does, of course, have the Tremor Sense, so should be able to see if anyone's coming. So, not too much to worry about now.
The scary thing for CFO right now is that it's really great that they're getting these kills, but HLE have demonstrated that they have a really good understanding of how to play the map well. We only have to look at last game where after every single skirmish and fight that was happening on the Rift, they would always, once the play was kind of over, send one person back to already start resetting and making their way to one of the side lanes to start pushing out that wave. And we're seeing it already here. The fact that not only was Viper able to make the best out of a bad situation, they also make a successful cross map. And now Delight is here to cover for what is CFO's strong side of the map. So fortunately for CFO, they do at the very least get a turret to reclaim the gold that they had lost. But it's something that CFO have to be very cautious of as Peanut's running into rest.
Yeah, does manage to find the Vault Breaker here as Viper set up. Let's see whether he can get some of these shots in. Teleport to come forward though as CFO are turning the play. Zeka will be moving over. And meanwhile, on the bottom side of the map, you've got Zeus and Honku potentially about to fight as well. Seismic Shove just to get rid of him. Mega Inferno Bomb right on top of Viper's head. And this Caitlyn's going to be real difficult for him to continue fighting. Bouncing Bomb almost connects at the same time. But HLE look to be out of there.
And I'm happy to report that Doggo does indeed play the same way. On Ziggs, as he done in other champions. Yes. Runs bot, gets his turret, immediately gets towards the top side of the map to make the action happen there. And I do understand CFO's want, because as you were highlighting, Vedi, these continuous trades, as they happen throughout the game, Hanwha Life in game 1 was able to just always eke out ahead with small advantages, but they did really add up. So I think CFO is really trying to actually get that break point. And this time I do think their engage is a lot better. The addition of the Leona, the pick potential that you can get with Pillar or a Renekton flank should really help them, because if this gold lead remains the way that it is, I think you might struggle down the line once Viper gets to more items. If not, though, and you're able to build upon it further, you're already at 2 dragons.
Yep, and the Coinbase gold grind, as you can see here, Peanut versus Junja. Junja's still in a very good position, but it's kind of stagnated as this game has gone on, and that shutdown money really helping Peanut try and find his way back in. As the Blast Cone, the Mega version, is just going to be denied for just about forever. Delight has to flash to get himself out of that situation, and the Mega Cone finally does come in, and the Realm Warp to follow. CFO, a steak dinner prepared beautifully by them.
An easy pick secured onto Delight. We've seen him miss position here and there throughout this tournament, and fortunately for HLE, that's not going to result. I say that, I stand corrected. CFO, of course, run immediately towards the top side where the Herald is spawned. They know they have the numbers advantage, so they're going to force that objective. HLE are also not really on the right side of the map. Peanut now pathing towards bot, wants to at the very least try and cross-map for this tier 1 outer tower.
Also feels like a little bit of disrespect from Hanwha Life, where in the last game we saw that CFO will bring the fight to you. And that's going to be Herald now, should be leading to that mid-turret falling. Hanwha Life able to get something on the cross map here, as we talked about, but I think you still take the Herald, especially if you can open up mid lane. And with a Ziggs, you don't even need to actually kill the turret. Peanut might be looking for a play onto Doggo here.
Yeah, might be able to get it into satchel range is what CFO are thinking, but Doggo playing very defensively will just clear out the wave, back away. And HLE still finding themselves on the back foot. They do manage to get that 1 turret, they do manage to get that 1 kill, but that is just not really enough to get them running in this one. And maybe this next dragon is going to be where they try and turn things around. As Chemtech Soul, not exactly the greatest, but Soul Point's still going to be very, very valuable here for CFO.
Absolutely. CFO find themselves in a very tense moment where, with this kind of gold lead, with the strength that they have, look at the difference from game 1 to game 2. Hongq now constantly on a side lane, has a healthy gold lead, ramping up very nicely on the rise. Gonna have that Seraphs completed very, very soon as HLE secure another outer tower. Just that last mid one remains, but this isn't gonna be an easy one to siege. CFO just have so much of the driving factors here in this game.
Yep.
With the wave clear that they've got thanks to Doggo, the TP committed by Hongq. Now it looks like that dragon is gonna be their focus.
A whole lot of control here of this river, and they're gonna throw down Shelly just to make sure that they retain it. Junja is going to drive her in, but we do have the wall being set up, and so it's going to have to be a different place to get a headache. Never mind, just swings by, just bypasses the wall, but then bypasses the turret! It's not what you want to see. There is the cease and desist, and Junja will immediately get punished, but he does have the subjugate, and Zeka just kind of evaporated off the back end. They still get the charge! How the hell did that work? That is so it looked like he missed, but maybe it was part of the play.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Absolutely. We have to. Do we have to now say that it was obviously part of the plan?
Because it worked out.
Perfect calculations,
Exactly.
Atlas. How did you not see that?
I really do like to assess things based on the result. Is now Doggo going to get knocked up here by Zeus, looking for the target, and doesn't finish him off. The flash from Peanut will be able to get on in there, and Zeus getting so many knockups in this fight. It is going to be the troll finally going down and getting punished. Viper is at full health in this fight, but now his front line has ran out, and HLE are just trying to get themselves out of there, and Hongq is going to say nope, as they all do take the Realm Warp, and so Zeus might be able to just buy some time here with some tunnels.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We'll go down for sure here. We'll see who they give the kill to. Looks like it is going to be Rest. Well, maybe an opportunity here as the Dragon is started. Vi does have a good amount of damage here on this objective with her W, but I don't think they're going to get the time.
I'm not
Mayhem,
sure.
Betty!
Perhaps this is an overestimation of the amount of damage that he can do, because this is nowhere near close, as Rest is going to move himself in. Doggo is teleported over at the same time. Mega Inferno of massive damage onto Zeka, as Hongq could be in a little bit of trouble, but Kaiwing is keeping him safe. Peanut realizing that he's made a big mistake here as well, as Delight gets the headbutt to save his jungler, but I mean, this is still just a leash, so they get Soul Point.
Yeah, I think Hanwha should be happy that they don't just outright lose the game there. That could have been the end of it. CFO's like, what are you doing? We're not the only one thinking what is going on.
This play started with Herald being used mid.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
And I think,
okay, now
like,
bring
so-
us through this genius play from Junja.
The ultimate from Zeka means that there's no path. So what does he do? He goes around the roundabout, naturally.
Yes.
This gives him an angle, but then he misses. He misses the tower. But
Does
he
he?
knew that this would bait them into a fight. Clearly, that was the plan from the very start. Because notice Zeka's positioning. He gets airborne. He gets airborne, and then the chain CC comes through. He immediately dies. Junja ulties, allowing him to buy enough time to flash away to safety. All the while, no one focused the Herald.
And then here we see that damage being done to the health bars of Hanwha Life is enough to already take them out. And then it's going to be a hero play from Zeus here as Doggo.
He overstays way too long.
He really does. And especially as you don't need to do that. Zeus follows up with the flash. Doesn't quite have the damage, which is what leads Peanut to flash. And I think that's what makes this fight awkward. If they have a little bit more there, if they're closer to the rest of their team, maybe Viper is in a better position to do damage. But Viper isn't that big in this game. And with Zeus already as low as he was, having used all his cooldown, staying for Peanut, and not able to get more. 3K gold lead now. Soul point for CFO. And I really wanted this to go to Freaks. Game 1 was a banger. So far, so good.
Yeah, we're looking real good for those 3 games, and we'll be looking even better if CFO can get themselves an Otacon.
No. Let's steer clear of the Otacon. This time, that engage is amazing. Just play for the fight.
No. Based on the last play that we just saw, I want someone
I think if
to
CFO is fighting, it's a good thing.
You have your
Absolutely.
2 item spikes, right? You have your Renekton with level 11, level 2 in the ultimate, 2 items. You have 2 items on mid. No.
So just start a fight on Otacon.
Yes, here we go.
Well, it's going to be HLE starting this fight as the wall is going to be put down. Zeka is knocked off it a little bit early, though, as Mega Inferno Bomb just pushes Viper out of the fight entirely. They do trade it for Honkyu, as Viper with the redemption might be able to stick around for like a little bit longer, but the Otacon not going to be a target that they can collect.
CFO, is this an Otacon angle?
That actually does, by the way, that ult does save the play, because otherwise Hanwha Life is 100% playing for Otacon. Instead, because of the damage done to Viper, they don't feel safe. They have to back off. Honkyu, the death is unfortunate, but doesn't give up too much.
Yeah, Honkyu overextends on the top side of the map. HLE overstack. Make sure. I think there were 5 people collapsing on the top lane because there wasn't really much.
TP'd as well.
Oh, he did. Yeah, that explains why there was 5. And the reason why they could afford to do that was because there's nothing really that CFO can cross map for, which is what Honkyu really didn't respect the ability and rationale for HLE to collapse. But CFO, they have the TP.
Let's see whether this is going to work, as Zeus is doing his best Void Grub or Rift Herald impression by being a Void monster in the pit. As there's a flick back onto Doggo! Peanut looking for that angle there, but it is just going to be the satchel that tries to get Doggo out of dodge. Zeus now could be the one in trouble, though, with Solar Flare. The circles are layered, and it's not enough damage. He just tunnels his way out. Another shove to buy that space, but the Otacon down underneath half health. As HLE still wanting to go for this one. Redemption to get those health bars back again. As Peanut, can you get the steal? That's the question. He gets himself in, but it's not going to be stolen away. And down goes Peanut immediately. It's a brilliant knock-up there from Delight, but Honkyu is still alive somehow. And CFO are just trying to limp themselves away with the Otacon in tow.
Heist successful for CFO. They get the objective. Peanut can get the steal. And that's going to be them getting the pedals.
And you doubted CFO's Otacon.
Okay, my bad. I apologize.
CFO, after losing their mid laner, they TP back and they start the objective. It was a sketchy situation because Doggo lost so much HP, but Honkyu, he takes matters into his own hands. He tries to keep Peanut out of the pit. He slows him down, he makes it as awkward as possible. You can also see the satchel charge there as well. He can't quite get in range of the smite. It is secured by Junja. And after securing that kill, CFO do the wise thing, disengage from the situation, and they walk away by getting a kill and the Otacon.
Yeah, you can see Dandy and Mowgli looking a little bit perplexed as to how this one's going, as pedal count actually very, very even. So lucky for CFO that they did manage to take down the Otacon. Even that one out quite nicely, but it's not going to spell too much of an advantage just yet. 3,000 gold, certainly a big deal here as we close 25 minutes. But this is just Chemtech Soul. And the thing that's ridiculous is that I said before that it's not exactly the most popular soul. It's Renekton and Trundle. Like, they will not die.
They love that. That's great stuff for them. The amount of sustain they have in their kits, between the passive to subjugate. Renekton with his Q as Highwing is looking aggressively. Viper needs to do some damage. Hanwha alive. Get it low.
Well, there is the solar flare towards that backline as Junja in a bit of trouble, but it's so much AoE with this Mega Inferno Bomb. Still, Rest is going to go down. The double knockup is fantastic, and it's 2 on the floor here for CFO. Zeus is down, the Dragon getting amongst it as well as the ulti from Viper to soften up Honku with Zeka on the flank angle. The flash pulverize from Delight is gorgeous! And Viper is there with the follow-up DPS. Doggo now out of cooldowns, but is able to at least get rid of the cow. And HLE come alive finally in this game.
And at the final hurdle, CFO just don't fight the fight that they were looking for. I think a little bit disjointed as we see the ultimate comes in, but look at Viper in this fight.
The positioning was fantastic. Just keeping it arm's length away from any of the threats. The wall from Zeka dividing CFO as well, meaning that the usual in-your-face doggo that we typically see was separated. And the moment that HLE could just play the front to back, it allowed them to pick apart CFO, secure the Dragon, and just like that, they're back into game 2.
And this time around, the Rexa actually had a really big impact, forcing multiple members away, so he basically created 2 split fights. On one hand, Viper was completely safe, but on the other hand, the backliners of CFO couldn't join the amount of damage that was being done, and now Viper 4-1-1. And it's an oldie, but a classic when it comes to Hanwha Live.
Yeah, and the thing that's beautiful about this game is I think if you wanted a recap of HLE's year, just watch this game. You know, because there's so many of the situations where, you know, Zeka is making interesting decisions. A lot of, like, when they don't look good, it doesn't look great at all. As Zeus is continuing to have a rough time. That interruption was absurd as the Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, but he takes another tunnel, tries to escape, and it does not work. And could this just be the setup as Zeus? This is one of the downturns for what we've seen from him as well, as they have just started this one up. HLE looking for an outer turret as well as Zeka on a flank angle. He will see Rest as he walks out of that brush, decides he doesn't want a face check, and these health bars are actually getting softened up. 50% on that Baron right now, and HLE still wanting to look for the 4 versus 5. I don't know about it, as there is a teleport available from Zeus. They need to buy some time. Only 15 seconds left to go, and they back away from the objective.
I love how, the way I imagine Viper, the moment he sees his top laner dies, he takes a deep sigh and says, here we go again. As he, just the positioning in that Baron pit, he was chipping away at Junja's HP bar. Zeka found a bit of a pick, but is he in danger himself?
No, I guess not. As Kaiwing gets on in there with the Mega Cone. There is another flick back as well as River, not going to face check, gets a ward down. Peanut will be spotted, moves away. Man, these setups, it's scary. It's like jump scares waiting in every brush.
My goodness, the tension is at an all-time high, as it feels like it's Viper versus the world right now. If CFO can lock him down, then CFO can, I feel like there's very few threats that they need to be wary about, but the challenge is getting to the Caitlyn, and we've talked a lot about it. CFO need to find quite the flank in order to do that, and you just look at the minimap and look at the vision coverage on the top side of the map. You can see the advantages. Is it happening again?
Well, Junja's going to get the flash out of Peanut. He's got a Mega Cone to get himself to safety, which is obviously what he knew he had, so that's why he was in the enemy jungle like that.
Oh no!
Oh, there's a brilliant little flick, but the headbutt pulverize doesn't work, as Delight gives him the thumbs up.
Yeah, we're really getting both the full spectrum of Peanut and Delight in this one. Peanut giving up
There's the
flash.
bell curve of HLE, and we've had both sides
I
of
see.
it
Yep,
so
no,
far.
yep, I can see that.
For not Raptors, and then Delight obviously also almost, or not getting the combo there. I want to highlight, though, looking at the item finishes, Doggo is so close to that death cap, and I do think very funny that Zeka is like, I am not the carrier, I'm going Rylai's, went that second actually, but it does mean that for Rest, for Junja, and for Honku, actually playing the fight gets a lot harder, especially with Viper's positioning as we've seen so far. Their main range is Doggo, and he needs to get to that Rabadons.
All right, well, then we can start a new fun mini-game.
I like mini-games.
Doggo is, as of right now, 300 gold away from the death cap.
Okay.
Okay.
Just got himself
Probably about
another
200.
90, so now he's about 200, give or take.
So 200 gold.
He needs 200 gold from somewhere.
STP.
He can get 200 gold. The problem is the dragon ticking down. He needs to get it before this objective spawns. They might hand the red buff over to him. You can see him pathing down right now.
That's Krugs as
See what they
well.
do. The thing is,
The
CFO
STP
don't
though.
really need to fight tooth and nail for the Drake, though, right? They're the
That's
team
true.
that
You
has
are
the
right.
sole point. That's the value of that.
Guys.
But it is CFO.
They will fight.
Yeah, yeah,
Come
yeah.
on,
They're
come
gonna
on,
do it.
come on
If
now.
they
No, no,
decide
no,
they
no, no,
want
no.
an
item spike.
Give CFO
They
some
can
credit.
choose to.
Give
Gentlemen,
CFO some credit.
Yes.
we've reached that time. He has received enough funds in order to make the purchase of a game time. I was going to say lifetime, but it's a game.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Here we
Maybe
go.
it's the most
purses.
important Rabbidan's purchase, though, of his life. So far. Probably not.
Probably
but he is
not.
an 80 carry, so he doesn't buy that item very often.
Here we go. Death cap completed, level 16 as well.
All right, Junja in position now. We're getting the snap traps down, though. And HLE, they have pulled this one out. Zeka on that angle once again to try and get that wall in. Junja is trying to keep himself there. He's pushed all the way out. And so this dragon should go over to HLE. They deny a soul yet again. But can they win themselves a fight as Kaiwin goes in and then uses Delight to taxi his way out? They're both in that backline as Honkyu is delivered to the open arms of Zeka. And Rest is now just trying to slice and dice his way out. They'll take a crab. They get one kill, but it's exactly the one they needed.
And it's again Zeus in the back line that is able to keep Doggo out of the fight, which means that even with that death cap being done, he doesn't actually get in a position to output a lot of DPS as the TP comes in. CFO know that they cannot give up this Baron.
Every teleport is going to be employed to try and stop this one from going down.
Oh,
25 seconds
hello.
on Doggo as well, who doesn't have teleport when he does respawn. Still there looking for the angle as Zeus goes in. It's a beautiful flick back, a double knock up again. The Pulverize is there and Viper is indeed unstoppable as everyone is CCing every member of CFO, and that just allows Viper to shoot them. The Baron gonna go down next. It felt like a hint of desperation because CFO, it was 4 versus 5.
Doggo, you need to steal this. Run!
Oh
Run!
god,
Running into
can he get
range.
into Mega Inferno
I
Bomb
don't think
range?
he can. He's
Come on,
gonna
come on, come
try.
on.
Oh well, it's down to
It's
2,000 now.
gone.
He's not going to be able to get there.
Oh!
And it probably wasn't going to happen anyway. There's a large circle saying, I'm throwing damage at the Baron.
Look at this ult from Zeka. Just fantastic once again to split up the fight. Rest
Oh no,
comes
and
in from
Ginger
the flank.
Flash in between the
Yes,
wall
he
and
does.
the wall.
It's so awkward for Ginger to get into the pit. And then look at the backline. Viper is not under threat. This is what we talked about. They cannot get on top of him. Meanwhile, Delight and Zeus, the Bash Pros on the back line, make it so difficult for Doggo to play the game. And by the time we come to the Baron, the numbers are not in their favor. The flick from Zeka again. The quiet carry of Zeka this game. His I've forgotten the word.
Seismic shoves.
That's the one I'm looking for. His shoves have been fantastic. His walls have been on point. And HLE take firm control over game 2.
Yeah, it's like Zeka is walking around with a bazooka called Viper.
Absolutely.
That's what's happening.
Yes.
And he can tell his opponents just to, get away from him and into the open arms of the damage.
For CFO, the wave flare is amazing that they do have right between the Rise, who obviously does need to get into range, but especially with the Ziggs. So they might be able to stall it out. They need to be very careful, though. I think they really need to exercise restraint to get another shot, because Hanwha Life is not going to win the game off of this just this Baron push if they're not able to actually break open the base, and they are not even close to Soul just yet.
Yeah, well, you've got Zeus in that mid lane.
Just
CC
defend.
eaten by a tunnel.
Let them have the turrets. It's okay. Come on, CFO. I want my game free.
See whether we can get there. Another double shove comes on through, though, as Zeka. I think he just wants to go back to the Hotel Chronicle. I don't think he wants to give you that game number 3 as Junja down so incredibly low. Peanut to try and set up here as well. The Solar Flare is decent, but the shove, the knockups all over the place, just chained so beautifully by HLE. They'll use that to take down this inhibitor turret. And no Crocodile to stand in that front line and defend. The inhibitor might actually be defended, though, as we can see here. That's not going to go down just yet, but they have now broken open the base. A 6,000 gold lead here for HLE as well. As the siege continues, Delight gets a headbutt in triple pulverize one more time as it's Zeus that assassinates Doggo yet again as Viper gets round the side to land the pot shots. It's a double as it all settles, and my God, HLE, they really came alive, and they were asleep at at the beginning of this game. But no, it looks like it's going to be a 2-0, and our second LCK team will make their way to knockouts with the fall of this Nexus. Peanut's last dance is still alive.
I mean, it felt like HLE figured out the formula. The use of Zeka's ultimate to just break apart CFO's composition, to make it hard for them to leverage their poke, really